Hey, welcome back to Joyce TCG, where it's always Final Fantasy TCG all the time. We've got Guardians on the right, Water Summons, non-targeting break on the left. So you did first turn, rolled right into it. We've got Yuna on the backup Yuna. She lets you have your Water Summons for one reduced by one cost. Back to the Guardians player. He's already played an Artemisian, where you can take as many cards as you want from your hand, put them at the bottom of your deck, and then draw that many cards. Looks like he chose to take 3 cards with that effect. And also plays the Alchemist to the field and passes turn. Man, they're flying. Woo. All right, no forwards yet. Oh, there's one. Sarah Mobius. So when Sarah Mobius comes to the field, you gain a crystal, and when you gain a crystal, you get to flip the top card of your deck, and if it's a backup, you get to add it to your hand. In this case, he flipped Sahagan 14, which is a backup, pulls it to his hand, and then immediately plays it by discarding Cuchulainn. Sarah Mobius, 7k. She's a decent body out there. She also has an action ability where you can pay a crystal and give her 1,000 bonus power. It's like the Guardians player wants to get info on that new Sarah Mobius card. Time to make some decisions. Let's see what's going on here. We have just the one forward on the field, 2 backups on each side. So they're fairly similar board states here. He's trying to decide if he wants to do something with that Alchemist. Chooses to dull both of the backups and discard Ject for Sealdra. One of my favorite summons. Sealdra lets you search for 2 water characters or 2 category 5 characters or one of each, but they both have to be a different cost. So in this case, I imagine he's probably going to get 2 water characters. Waka's one of them. He's a 2-cost water character. And so with the Guardians deck, that also runs a 2-cost Auron card, which would be great, but he can't grab that because it's the same cost as Waka. So you have to pick something else. And he goes for Lakshmi. Lakshmi? There's really no extra I there. And those both go to hand. And he passes turn while he go ahead and shuffles his deck after that search. Looks like he's waiting to play until the shuffling is done here. Probably talking it up in the background, but I got rid of all that banter. So here we are. There we go. He does the cut, and on we go. So there it is. Sarah Mobius coming in for a swing. Typhon to the damage zone. And looks like he's thinking about playing a card here. It is teetering on the edge of being played. And he chooses not to play it. Whew. That was pretty intense. On to pass turn to the Guardians player. See if he's going to try to protect himself from Sarah Mobius coming in for another hit or let it happen. Let's see here. He's got Lakshmi. He puts on the field. Trying to put a forward out. That would be equal power to Sarah Mobius. They're both 7,000 power. When she enters the field, she doesn't have any abilities, but if you have 5 cards in hand or more, she takes 2,000 less damage when she takes damage. And if she's on the field at the end of your turn, you get to draw a card. So, which is really cool. and he tries to pass turn, but before the turn ends, the Water Summons player plays Atmos, which makes you choose one forward and put it in the break zone. And since there was only one forward to choose, he got rid of Lakshmi so that he could not get that draw bonus. And he's trying to decide if he's going to play anything else, and he passes turn. So that was kind of a dead turn there. Not much happened. And a swing comes in for another damage because his forward got taken away. And here comes Porum. When Porum is on the field, when she goes to the break zone, you get to grab a summon out of your break zone and put it in your hand. Very effective card for this type of deck. Trying to decide what he's going to play here. Looks like he's going to try to play Yuna. Oh, wait a minute. Pulling back all the cards here. Maybe not playing Yuna. Oh, the other player stood up and walked away. He's probably going to wait for him to come back. And here he comes back with his crystal card. Aha. Got to get that crystal card to designate what the dice is for. Okay, you don't have to, but he does, since he has a crystal card. And, oh, we're playing Waka. Waka to the field. When he comes to the field, he gains a counter. And anytime a category 10 forward comes to the field, he gains a counter. Looks like he's going to play Kuchulain to get rid of... Nope, he's not playing Kuchulain. He's going to play Famfrit. Instead, Famfrit makes each player choose one forward to put in the break zone. So he's going to get rid of Waka, but also put Porum in the break zone, which lets him grab a summon out of the break zone, which he chose to grab Atmos. Man, every time a forward comes on the field, it gets broken. For the Guardians player, he's going to have to find a way to multiply those all in one turn. All right, now he's going to try to play Yuna. Yuna lets him pull a 2-cost Guardian out of the break zone and play it to the field. Or you can activate all your backups. He only has 2 backups, so it makes the most sense to play a Guardian from the break zone here. And there it is, Waka coming back. Gets 1 counter for Waka coming to the field. Since Yuna was already on the field, Waka does not gain a counter from her coming to the field. And here comes Sarah Mobius for another swing. Now the Guardians deck at damage 3 gets a lot of bonuses, so it makes sense to take this hit, and he does. And it's an EX. EX Burst on Riku is if you control a job summoner, which he does, you can choose one forward the opponent controls and put on top of their deck and draw a card. If you do not control a job summoner, then it choose one forward the opponent controls and return it to their hand. All right, and now he's going to play Famfrit. Big Famfrit, if I do say so myself. He makes each player choose 2 forwards to put in the break zone. Since the Water Summons player didn't have any forwards, it didn't really hurt him, but made the Guardians player lose 2 forwards. So, pretty devastating move there. And we're going to play Althea to the field. Althea, when she comes to the field, you can activate one character, and he did. He activated that Artemisian, and then he also plays Brother. And Brother, when he comes to the field, you can search for one Category 10 forward and put it in your hand. Looks like he's going to search for Yuna, put it in his hand. Yuna's one of the main keys to that deck. Yuna, Waka, and Auron, really. And all right, he takes himself to 4 backups, but still no forwards since they keep getting broken. And he's going to wait that out. So here comes Sarah Mobius again. Gain a crystal, flip the top card. If it's a backup, goes to his hand, and it was. And he passes the turn. Back to Guardians. Activate everything, and let's see if we can do something here. Looks like the Guardians player is trying to see what some of the abilities those backups are. Maybe not real familiar with them. And he goes to play Yuna. When Yuna comes to the field, let's see, he's probably going to grab a 2-cost Guardian, and it is Waka returning, making an entrance again. Gaining that counter when he comes to the field. Now he gets Auron on with him. Auron makes it so that his opponent must choose him with all their summons and abilities. And Titus comes to the field as well, giving Waka his 3rd counter. And Titus, when he comes to the field, you can search for a card named Waka, Eject, or Yuna and put it in your hand. So he's going to choose a Waka and put it in his hand. Oh, and that Titus came to the field for free because his cost is reduced by 1 for every Category 10 on the field. And his normal cost is 3, so -3 makes him 0. And then he used Waka's special by removing 3 counters to break Sarah Mobius. Nothing has haste, so he could not attack this turn. They all 4 appeared this turn on the field. And, oh, there's Leviathan, Lord of the Whirl. Big 9-cost body. When he comes to the field, you can choose up to 1 forward, 1 backup, 1 monster your opponent controls, and put them back in their hand. And then for every card that's returned to hand, Leviathan lowers the power of 1 forward by 9,000 power. So, in this case, he has to choose Auron because he has to be chosen by summons and abilities. And then he's going to choose a backup. The 2 go back to the hand, but if you saw while I was talking, the Guardians player used Waka's special to break Leviathan, which means that the cards still get returned to hand, but he can't do his secondary effect of doing the damage when the cards are returned to hand because now he has been broken. So he saved himself 2 forwards there that would have been destroyed. And here comes Auron back to the field. And he plays Althea. When Althea comes to the field, activate 1 character, and he activates that that backup there. And then coming in for some attacks, Titus, Yuna, and Waka for 3 damage. All right, he's going to play Atmos, which means that the Guardians player chooses one forward to put into the break zone. He's going to choose Titus. And here comes Macherie. When Macherie's on the field, all your summons cost one less. And he's already got the one reduction from Yuna, so it'll make all of his water summons two less. But they cannot become zero. Here he's going to use Waka's special to break Macherie. And it looks like Macherie is going to respond. Now, he uses Waka special using the normal method by discarding a Waka card and paying one water instead of using his 3 counters ability. So Macherie is going to use respond and return Waka to hand. And he's going to then get rid of 3 more summons to draw a card. And he's still deciding if he's going to do another one, it looks like. Nope, Macherie goes to the break zone. Oh, and then they just realize that, oh, you know what? I had to target Auron. He has to be the one that gets returned to hand. Oh, they put him in the break zone. There, now he's returned to hand. Oh, they're just getting their hands correct here after that Auron mistake. The Waka should be in the break zone. So now everything should be all set up correctly. He'll continue on the Guardian's turn here. He's going to pay 2 to put that Auron back on the field. And he's going to swing with Yuna. Swing with Waka. 5 damage. There's some questions from the audience there about one of the cards in the damage zone. Talking about Typhon and how amazingly beautiful he is, I'm sure. And it looks like they just played Lightning to the field, the new Lightning card that for some reason looks exactly like Yuna, but it's called Lightning. What it does is when she comes to the field, you choose one forward and remove it from the game if you control less forwards than your opponent. Well, he chose Auron because he had to choose Auron, but the Guardians player chose to use Althea's ability to return Auron to hand instead of letting him get removed from game as a response to Lightning's ability. Because Althea's ability is you can dull her and choose a character you control, return it to your hand, and Althea comes back to your hand as well. And Macherie has made another appearance. And he's considering another activation of her action ability. 3 summons removed from game. And he's returning Waka to hand, it looks like, with that Macherie ability. Yes, he is. And turn switch. Two for Waka. There he is again. What is this, the 3rd, 4th, 5th time he's been on the field now? And then there's an Auron coming in. If he's got Titus in hand, he could play it for free here. But it looks like he's doing something else. He's playing that Althea back to the field and activating one backup. And the only character that could attack here would be Yuna, but she doesn't have any bonuses, so she's equal in power to Lightning, and they would both die if Lightning chose to block. So he does not attack and passes turn. And here's Porum again. Porum's made her appearance. As a reminder, when she goes to the break zone, you can grab a summon out of your break zone and put it in your hand. Although I don't think there's any summons in the break zone right now. I think they're all removed from game. And he chooses not to attack as well. As he's staring down an Auron that's 9,000, that's not going to work out well for him. Like we're paying 4 for Riku. There's that third counter for Waka. Riku doesn't have a come to the field ability, but when she attacks, it was when her ability activates. And then we're going to play a Rem. Rem comes to the field. You can activate a character you control. Activates Althea. Trying to get his people all managed on that board here. There we go. Let's see if he chooses to attack, or there it is, use Waka's special. He does use Waka's special to put Porum in the break zone, but wait, there's a response. He's going to use Famfrit instead to put Porum in the break zone and force the Guardians player to put one of his forwards into the break zone as well. So if Waka's special had went off and not been responded to, Porum would have went to the break zone, but it would not have allowed her to grab a summon out of the break zone because when Waka uses a special, it removes all abilities from that card and then breaks it. So it would have no abilities when it entered the break zone. But because Famfrit got rid of Porum first, he was able to grab that Famfrit back to his hand. And here's Sarah Mobius again. When she comes to the field, gain a crystal, flip the top card. It's not a backup this time, so it can go back on the top or bottom of the deck. He chooses to put it at the bottom of the deck. And he passes the turn. Still not interested in fighting heads-on against Auron and Riku. There are 7 and an 8 now that Yuna has left the field. Still determining where this is going here. He's got, nope, he's not spending those backups. Looks like he's choosing to turn and break Rem, crack Rem's neck and gain a crystal out of it. When Rem goes to the break zone, you can activate a character, but he has no characters that are dulled, so that piece did not occur. Maybe a misplay, maybe not. Could just be clearing a spot for another backup to come on. And he's going to play Sin. When Sin is on the field, he has a field ability that says your opponent cannot activate action abilities during their turn. So, during the Water Summon's turn, he cannot activate action abilities. So Mashari and Sarah Mobius have action abilities, and they won't be able to activate those during their turn now, as long as Sin's on the field. He also has an action ability of his own that is pay 4, 2 of which have to be wind, and he can cancel an auto ability. Not nearly as good as Amaterasu, where it also does damage to the forward, but can be a saving grace at a certain moment. Riku attacks, and since there's no summoner job on the field, Riku will return a card to hand, and he chooses to return Sarah Mobius and take the damage point. It takes him to 6 damage. He's going to read that Riku card again and see why it got returned to hand instead of the top of his deck like it did last time. And he's going to swing with Auron. At 6 damage, Water Summon's deck has to block here. He's going to block with Lightning, which they're both 7Ks. So if no response here, they'll both perish. Looks like he's spending 1 and his crystal to play Garmish Jera, which returns Auron to his hand and lets him draw a card. That ends the battle phase, so damage was not done until Lightning stays on the field. And here comes Sarah Mobius again, and when she comes to the field, gaining that crystal and flip the top card. It's not a backup, so it has to go in the top or bottom of the deck. So he's going to leave it on top of the deck this time. And he's going to play another, well, it's not a forward, it's a monster, Tross. Tross's ability is when a opponent's forward, or I think it's character, it might be forward, is returned to their hand, you get to draw a card. So, pretty good card if you've got a lot of return to hand stuff, which this deck does. He can also has an action ability where he can turn into a forward. But you have to be at damage 3 to use it, which he is. 3 or higher. Looks like he might be pointing out that Sin is stopping him from activating any of his action abilities, so might be slowing down the process there. And turn is passed. He's trying to decide how he's going to get through this 4 forwards he's got on the field here. You got Lulu coming in. When Lulu enters, Waka gains a counter, and you can search for a card named Yuna or a summon out of the break zone. Sorry, not search. Retrieve card named Yuna or a summon out of the break zone and put it in your hand. So he chose Yuna. Well, we know he has that Yuna still in his hand, so I wonder if he's going to try to play it here. Ah, here's Yuna. Here she is. And that brings Auron to the field, giving Waka now a total of 4 counters. Waka's going to activate his special here and break a forward. It is Sarah Mobius going to the break zone. Looks like Riku is coming in for a swing. Since there's a summoner on the field, job summoner, Riku can pick a forward and put it back on top of the opponent's deck and draw a card, which he looks like he missed that opportunity to draw the card there as well. And he's going to activate Tross and turn him into a forward and block. He's going to cast Famfrit, it looks like. Yeah, there it is. And instead of Tross going to the break zone by himself, he's going to put Tross in the break zone, and the Guardians need to choose a forward to put in the break zone as well. So he's going to put Auron in the break zone. Since there's a summoner on the field, Auron lets him draw. And Sin is going to swing in. And now he has 3 summons in the break zone, so he can put those removed from game and put Sin back in the Guardian's hand. And he's going to swing with Waka and block with Mashiri. Now Waka has that 2,000 bonus from Yuna, so he's a 7 instead of a 5. Just enough to overcome Mashiri at a 6. But Lulu and Yuna cannot attack because they came to the field this turn. Couldn't quite get through everything, but close. And he's going to pass that turn over. There comes Lightning to the field. When Lightning enters, if you have fewer forwards than your opponent, you can choose a forward and remove it from the game. He's going to choose to remove Lightning from the game because it looks like he knows that he's not going to be able to recover. There's the game. Great game, guys. All right, future videos, I saw a comment that said that you'd like to see deck lists, and I'm going to try to add those for next time.